I know so many of you guys are ready to push the gas when it comes to Facebook advertising, but I will say this, I have talked to a lot of students and potential clients over the last several weeks, and I've noticed that almost all of them have the same misconception when it comes to Facebook advertising. And so today, over the next couple of minutes, I want to walk you through the one main thing that you have to 100% understand and buy into before you even start to think about spending money on Facebook advertising. My name is Laurel Portier, and I help online experts just like you amplify your brand utilizing video marketing and cheap advertising so that you can make an impact with more of your ideal audience. And in this episode, I'm going to go over the basic principle that you have to not only understand, but you also have to buy into it before you spend a dime on Facebook ads, okay? And so one of the first things that you need to understand is that all Facebook ads they are just simply good pieces of content that has money on it. That is it. So many people overcomplicate what Facebook advertising actually is, and they think that the actual robotics and technical part of it is the thing that makes them work. And that is a huge misconception. It's not. It's all about the content. Think about this, and don't worry, I'm going to draw on my board. I'm going to show you guys how to actually figure out what type of content that you should be doing for each of those steps. But I just wanted to get that out of the way. Facebook advertising or YouTube advertising or Google advertising, it's simply just putting money on content that's already going to work. And that's why I often tell my students, hey, you should be taking advantage of 3 profit plays before you even consider running Facebook ads. Now, I'm going to give that away today. That's going to be my freebie. If you want my training that I shared with my 90-day video marketing students on the 3 profit plays that you should be doing before you spend money on Facebook ads, drop me a line below and I'm going to send it straight to your inbox. No email required. I'm just going to drop it straight into your messenger. So if you want that masterclass, go ahead and drop me a line below. But moving forward, as we go with Facebook advertising, the one thing that we have to understand is that ads are simply just content that we're paying for Facebook to put in front of the right people at the right time. And so a lot of times I get this question, Laurel, at the top of my funnel, what type of content should I be doing? Well, the first thing that you have to understand is that the way that I do my Facebook ad strategies is I simply build content to pull people through different parts of the funnel. So there's 2 parts at the top of the funnel that you need to understand before you even start creating content for it. And it's the level of awareness, right? There's people who are walking around that don't know that they have a problem, and then there are people walking around that know they have a problem but don't know who to go to for that problem. And so those are the 2 types of content that we have to be thinking about. Is the first objection, right? So think about this. There are a lot of people walking around right now that don't even know they should be doing Facebook advertising, right? So that's the first phase, right? But then there are people walking around, maybe like some of you guys who are listening to this episode right now, that know you should be doing Facebook advertising, but you haven't picked someone to actually lead you in that next step of your business, and you're still shopping around. And so I am doing this video to build credibility and authority in this niche that I've been working in for over 9 years now. So the 2 top of funnel types of content are going to cover people who don't know that they have a problem, and then people who do have a problem, know they have a problem, but they're shopping around. So the first set of content needs to address the problem that people don't know that they have, right? So think about this. Let's put it in layman's terms. So let's say there's a lot of people walking around and they don't feel good, right? And there's a lot of people walking around, maybe they have an autoimmune disease, but they don't know that. If you're teaching about autoimmune, you might be talking about some of the symptoms here. Because remember, people don't know that they have autoimmune. They're just walking around thinking that everyone is having that same kind of like gut issue, right? But then if that content right there talks about those symptoms, that person's going to make the connection, oh my gosh, I might have an autoimmune disease, right? Then what they're going to do, then they're going to start looking for that solution to that problem. And those are the two types of people that we need to be focused on. That is the broad, right? That's where we could go broad. And then the more that we go into our funnel, right, it closes in, right? And so most people, they don't know how to articulate who they're trying to reach with what messaging at the top of the funnel. So that's the first thing that you have to totally understand, is that what phase of awareness are you doing that content for? And then just understand, we're just going to pay Facebook to put that content in front of those people. Most of the time when Facebook ads go wrong, it has nothing to do with targeting. It has nothing to do with the objective. Think about this. If you see a video, and I'm going to use Frank Kern because I love Frank Kern. If you see a video from Frank Kern and it's good and he's pushing you to an amazing offer, do you think it really matters whether or not he uses the conversion objective or the reach objective? I'm going to click that link no matter what if he puts that content in front of me. And so that's why people are always like, well, people get caught up in objectives and people get caught up in targeting. It's really less about that and more about understanding that we're just simply paying Facebook to put content in front of the right people. But we first have to understand where they are in that buyer's journey, right? Before I could sell people into my $7 a month program, I have to make them aware that, one, they can do their own Facebook advertising. They don't need an agency. I have to convince people, too, that Facebook ads don't have to cost a fortune. I have to show them that there's a $5 a day ad strategy. All of these things, that first set of objections has nothing to do with me. They just don't know that they need what I have. And so that's what my content, very top of funnel, needs to address. And then my second line of content could come in the form of me offering that solution, whether that's my $7 a month program, maybe that's a webinar, maybe. And so once we understand that, then we can build content, right? If people have opted into your offer, but they haven't bought your stuff, then you know that you need to put content right here underneath that that's going to drive people back to that sales page. Maybe they have questions. And so I always teach my students to do something that we call like the hot 7 retargeting. You ever heard that the saying that it takes 6 or 7 exposures before people will make that buying decision? And so the hot 7 is simply just pieces of content that's going to help them make their way to that buying decision. Okay? So I hope that this has been very valuable. Now, for those of you guys who are not ready to do ads yet, I've got a really cool training that is going to show you how to utilize 3 profit plays that you should be doing before you even think about doing Facebook ads. But for those of you guys who actually have an offer and you are ready to start rocking and rolling, I got an Instagram message from one of my students who's actually graduating from my premium program. She understands how to run her own ads. She's understanding how to scale and optimize. And most importantly, she knows how to create this content that's going to pull people through. So shout out to Andrea from my program, who has a complete understanding of all the foundations, and she is ready to rock and roll. And I know that she's got the knowledge now to scale to that next level. If you want to take Andrea's place inside my premium program, drop me a line below, let me know. Like I said, there's a cap on that program because it is personalized. I do consult with my students. There's several coaching calls a month. There is a one-on-one strategy call so that I can help you get started and point you in the right direction. Think about this, it is just like me being your personal ad consultant. I'm not going to push the buttons for you, but I will literally create a strategy so that you know which buttons to press and how to measure those metrics. And of course, you have my guidance on the group coaching calls so that I can make sure that your ads are placed right and also that you're optimizing and scaling. I know a lot of people get really afraid when it comes to optimizing and scaling. So that's what you guys have me for. So if you're interested in that, shout out to me. And like I said, there's only one spot. There's not a million spots. This is not a scarcity thing. Like, I literally have one spot. But anyway, you guys have an amazing day, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of Video Marketing Secrets. I will see you guys on the next episode.